If you ever found yourself mindlessly snacking throughout the day and it's starting to become a habit, then Anne's story will resonate with you. Anne at 58 was snacking constantly without even realizing it. She wanted to make a change but didn't want to go on another restrictive diet. That's when she found the Pursue Your Spark Blueprint. The course helped her become more aware of her habits, and with a combination of mindfulness and intermittent fasting, she could take control of her eating. Now she feels more energized and in control of her health. If you've been struggling with mindless snacking like Anne, check out the blueprint and see how it can help you regain control. I'll leave a link in the show notes so you can check it out. Imagine you're waking up already exhausted, and then you take a peek at your to-do list and you roll your eyes. You want to feel stronger, healthier, and more focused, but instead, you're feeling stuck. It's like quicksand. The harder you push, the deeper you sink. Who has time to figure out a workout or plan a healthy meal when you're drowning in stress? You're not failing, and it's not about willpower. The real issue is the overwhelm that paralyzes so many of us before we even start. As the year wraps up, it's tempting to fall into the new year, new you cycle, setting big, unrealistic goals only to feel defeated by February. But you don't need a complete overhaul or a fancy resolution to create lasting changes. And in today's episode, we're tackling overwhelm head-on, breaking free of the stuck cycle and avoiding the traps that keep us spinning year after year. And I'll share tiny but actionable steps that fit into your busy life, building momentum and make real progress. No gimmicks, no overhauls, just what works. So let's dive in and make this coming year the year you finally feel in control. This is the Pursue Your Spark podcast, and I am Heike Yates. If you're feeling stuck in midlife, wondering, how did I get here? You're in the right place. We're all about real transformation, not quick fixes. My mission is to help you break free from limiting beliefs and outdated habits using fitness and wellness as tools for change. Each episode offers practical strategies for turning complex challenges into simple, actionable steps. So bring your yes, I can attitude and earbuds, and let's explore how you can truly thrive in midlife. I get it. You've tried the diets, the workout plans, the wellness challenges, hoping for a breakthrough, but instead you're feeling left, drained, stuck, and not sure where to start. And with the new year approaching, the pressure to fix everything ramps up, adding even more stress. But here's the truth. Lasting change doesn't come from big resolutions or doing it all at once. It comes from starting small and focusing on what truly matters. Let's cut through the overwhelm and find your way with one simple step at a time. And at the time of this recording, it's not even Thanksgiving, and I see it everywhere. The New Year's, New You resolutions, and they mainly focus on weight loss. It's true that over the holidays, everybody gains a couple of pounds because we're eating things we're not eating the rest of the year. And we may be eating a little bit more than we should, but there are no shoulds in my world. If it tastes good, just go for it. And we exercise a little less. So we become prey to those programs that promise us, if we just buy that one program, we will reach the goal that we've been trying to get to for years, perhaps for some of us. But that's not true. When you look in your cupboard, you may see all the recipe books you bought in the intention to use them with a specific diet, or the exercise app that you opened once or twice and found that the exercises were too hard and just not for you now that you're in midlife. You want something good for your bones, easy to do, and simple, that it's not overwhelming you. But you see all these programs out there and you feel tempted to buy them and go for it because this time it's really going to work. And again, I have to say it, I've been in the fitness industry for 40 years. And when I used to work at health clubs, every January, the gyms were jam-packed, including the Pilates studios, because everybody said, I'm going to do it this year. I'm going to go. And then by 6 weeks later, usually 6 weeks, it got emptier and emptier and emptier because everybody went gung-ho, all out, and just trying to kill their workouts and being, as air quotes here, as good as they could be with their diet. So let's not do this again. Let's stop that overwhelm and that frustration that comes with this yo-yo dieting or this I can't reach my goals. Let's set realistic goals. Let's really go with what I like to call baby steps. And with that, I want to dive into that it's okay to feel stuck sometimes, recognizing it without beating yourself up. Now, don't get me wrong. Establishing a routine is really important, and routines can feel very safe. You know what you're doing, what exercises you do, you know what you're eating. It can get boring at times, but if a routine feels good to you, we most likely stick with it for extended period of times. And there's nothing wrong with it. And I always say, even if it's boring and you're doing it, you're taking action, yay, way to go. But sometimes it's not about sticking with the routine or feeling safe in it, but feeling stuck and not satisfied. So when you think about doing the same old routine or keep going with the same eating habits that you've been for years, and you're not reaching that goal, that health goal that you have set for yourself, that's a moment where we are stuck, where we feel, well, what am I going to do now? How do I get out of this? This has worked for so many years, but now it's not working. The needle doesn't move either way. I'm not really getting stronger. I'm not seeing the body changes that I want. I may not see the fat loss. I may not see my energy becoming stronger. So that's where we have to separate the comfort in a routine and the stuck in a routine. And we have to do this, in my opinion, without beating ourselves up. Because when you're feeling stuck, you may think, I should have it all figured out by now. I've done this for so many years and I should know what to do. I should know how to make these changes. And that only increases our guilt and the frustration, not in the comfort zone, but in the stuck or in the feeling stuck department. Let's normalize these feelings that there's nothing to be ashamed of. You don't have to be frustrated with it, but there is a step towards change. Now, if you're feeling stuck, that can manifest itself into you're getting angry at your workout routine, as I had mentioned in a previous episode, because I don't see a result. And keep repeating the same results and not seeing a change. Or even, I want to put that in as well, is saying yes to something that you really want to say no to, which is the topic of say no, set boundaries. And this matters because identifying these signs helps you understand what's draining your energy and why you're feeling overwhelmed. So let's identify whether we're comfortable in our routine and we're totally okay, or we're feeling truly stuck and want something different and want the outcome to be different. It is important that we identify the root cause of this overwhelm we feel, of this feeling nervous, dissatisfied, angry even, because you can then see a path forward instead of feeling trapped in a cycle of frustration. Here's my little action or baby step. Write down one area where you feel overwhelmed without trying to solve it. It's not about, okay, I want a different workout. I'm going to change it right now. This is about self-awareness and not criticism. Baby steps for the win, as I always say. I want you to get away from those big, audacious goals that feel so tempting, or big, hairy goals, or whatever people call these things. And let's keep things simple. It is really important to get away from the all or nothing. If I don't do this entire program in January, which is, let's say, 2 months, I failed. That's not true. But sticking to it and being consistent, you may even extend that program once it's finished beyond it because you needed a little bit more time. And when you think about that all or nothing, which is also something I talk about in my forthcoming book in the next year, it leads to burnout. And what does frustration do to us? We give up. We're so freaking frustrated that we say, no, I'm just done with this. And then you try another program and I'm done with it. So let's stop that cycle. And like I mentioned earlier, that getting sucked in like you in sand, and you get deeper and deeper in. When you think of what you can do, it always starts with baby steps. So not all or nothing. One of my clients said, Heike, I want to lose weight. And I said, all right, I'm a precision nutrition coach. I can definitely help you with this. Initially, you came to me with Pilates, but you noticed how Pilates had created more awareness in your workout, and that translated into her day as well. She said, I really feel good. I exercise, but I don't feel good in my body overall. So we said to make little tweaks, and one of her mini wins was to add more water to her day. So I said, just drink an extra glass of water. Make it so small that you don't even notice you're doing something different. So we continued with our classes and did our Pilates, and she suddenly had an aha moment. She said, Heike, I'm sitting down every night with my husband, watching a show to chill out and, close out the day. And then he pulls out the M&Ms. And he puts the bowl right between the two of us. And he starts munching. And of course, I start munching. Although I don't really feel like eating, I'm pretty full. I had a balanced dinner the way we discussed it. But I noticed I'm sharing his M&M. That was the biggest aha moment. And from then on out, she said, I don't want any M&Ms. And she stopped eating the M&Ms. So creating awareness, keeping it simple. So once she started noticing that, once she stopped eating the M&Ms, it was a game changer. She started losing weight. It was that tiny change that made her win. So like I said, the power of the small wins, they have to be small and manageable. Like I said, the big glass of water. If you're not a water drinker, drink 1 glass of water a day. I know these tiny shifts feel so silly. So really, Heike, is this going to add up in the end? It will build confidence, and tiny changes are planting the seed that you can do more in the long run, which is very impactful for your health. Big, tiny changes lead to big wins. And your tiny change could be that glass of water. And here's why this works. Small, consistent wins help you build momentum, confidence, and make progress without feeling overwhelmed by the need to change everything all at once. Have you told yourself before, it's too late for me. I've tried that before and I failed. I'm too old to start something new. Something that's a negative and limiting belief that you have that may not even be something that you created, that comes from something you saw on social media, or you're thinking you're comparing yourself with much younger women and thinking, oh, I'm too old to start something new. It's a limiting belief that we do not need for moving forward to create those tiny steps. It's oftentimes that we internalize these stories that we're told. And it's time to change those stories and flip the script to embrace what we can do, understanding that we already have what we need inside of us, and we don't need a whole bunch of other things around us, but we all draw from our past experiences and the messages around us. So let's cut down the noise and create new stories for us. Let's create something that is positive. It is so, so important. When back in the days when I invented Pilates with the big resistor balls or the big stability balls, I had the limiting belief that I was not smart enough yet in my Pilates beliefs, in my Pilates training that I should have been teaching for many more years to be creating an innovative program, putting the Pilates mat work to the ball or with the ball. And this belief almost held me back of not creating the program. And then I talked to my husband and I said, what do you think? And I don't know. And he says, what's the worst thing that can happen? They don't like it. Well, but you liked it and you introduced it, you created it. And guess what? In the end, they loved it. I created a teacher training manual, and this is about 15 years maybe now, that I created Pilates mat work with the big stability ball. And it was a huge hit back then and still is. And I love it when I come across people on Instagram that are teaching basically my moves. It just lights me up. But think about, if I hadn't changed my limiting belief to the yes, I can, I would have never developed that program. So flip the script of these beliefs isn't ignoring reality. It's about choosing thoughts that support your goals, which comes down to, what is your goal? If you're someone who's constantly juggling responsibilities, you'll relate to Linda's story. At 54, Linda was running a business and caring for her family. Her health had taken a backseat and she felt drained and overwhelmed. Finding the Pursue Your Spark blueprint gave her the structure she needed to fit self-care back into her life. The small, achievable steps like incorporating movement into her day and practicing mindful eating helped her feel more energized and in control, even with her busy schedule. If you're like Linda and need a way to fit health into your packed day, check out the blueprint right here, and I'll leave a link in the show notes for you. What is your goal? And rephrase it into, I am capable of finding what works for me. Yes, and I'm putting the emphasis on finding, because we're not born knowing what we want. We're changing. And I always say every 10 years, my needs, wants, my physical abilities, and my life changes. So every 10 years, I do something different. I'm 63 now, and I'm doing something different. And it's okay, but it takes a while to find and fine-tune what brings you a sense of curiosity and growth in those challenges that are before us. So what is one limiting belief that you could think of right now and instead say something positive? Instead of, I can't do it, I can't do this, say, I got this. And if you've seen my podcast, the videos, you see I have this on the wall behind me when I record a video. So your beliefs shape your actions. When you change your mindset, you unlock the possibility for real change and start to overcome the overwhelm that comes with so many things in our lives. And who tells you that you should, air quotes, be doing the same thing over and over? It's about time that we give ourselves to do things differently, not necessarily different things. If you like Pilates, maybe you want to do something differently around your Pilates schedule, but the pressure to follow a strict wellness trends, which is now happening in January. Again, we're back at this. This is the only thing that works. I'll promise you it works. We never know until we try, can lead to that burnout and that, frankly, being disappointed. Those trends aren't personal, and what works for someone else may not work for you. And that is okay. What I would say, give it a try. Give it your all on, your full attention. Finish it and see what happens. And from my experience, there always is a positive change. Anybody who's going through the Pursue Your Spark Blueprint loves the flexibility of the program and loves how they can move things around to fit their schedule, whether it's the intermittent fasting window, the workouts, or the mindset lessons that we discuss in the program. It is okay to do things differently. It is okay to not follow the herd with everything where everybody else is going. But you have to figure out, in my opinion, what works for you. And again, to me, it changes every year. Every 10 years, I'm sorry. Give yourself permission to break the rules, allows you to experiment and truly find what's good for your body and for your lifestyle. There is not a one-size-fits-all approach. HIIT training is not my jam, but it is for many other women and men. The key is to turning into your own needs and preferences instead of following rigid advice. So I don't do HIIT training. I just don't like it. But if you like it, you do it and see how you can make it yours. You may not do all the moves and adjust it in the intensity. Move a little slower. Don't do certain exercises where you feel that just don't feel good. I want you to break one wellness rule. I know that sounds very tempting. One wellness rule this week that doesn't feel right for you, and try something that aligns better with your life. You heard my story already. I won't do a HIIT workout. I tried it as a fitness coach. I go to fitness conferences and I'm going, okay, I'm going to give it my best to do these classes, to check it all out for my clients, of course, for you guys. And then I just go, nah, it's not my jam. Don't feel it. Don't want it. Don't need it. So do something different. Don't do it because your girlfriends do it. Do it because you want to do it. It lights you up. You enjoy it. And you will do it for longer periods of time, which increases your rate of success and consistency. So when you let go of what doesn't serve you, you create space for habits that feel good, helping you reduce, we're talking about overwhelm today, and you feel so much more empowered because you chose. Nobody else chose for you. And that is so important for us, for consistency and for our own empowerment. And I would like you to also check out episode 215, where I talk about 5 transformative habits for midlife mastery. So that's episode 215, the 5 transformative habits for midlife mastery. And the link will be in the show notes for you. Let's talk about guilt. Giving all the steps we talked about today, guilt will show up. It's almost a no-brainer for us women that we feel guilty about something. It's about we're feeling guilty changing the program. We're feeling guilty actually doing the program. We're feeling guilty changing the meals up, and our families may rebel a little bit. It's just guilt is everywhere, and we need to let go of guilt. We don't have to feel guilty. It is okay to prioritize yourself because you can. It is, I almost said your birthright. Maybe that's what I wanted to say. It's your birthright. Yes, you can. And you got this, because guilt often does show up when we start prioritizing our needs. And it's okay that we do that. It's encouraged to break out of old patterns and stepping into new ones. And for the people around us, it may take some time to adjust to that growth. A client of mine said the other day that she and her husband were going to a classical music concert, and he has a lot of health issues. And he said, I don't think I want to go. It's too much work. So you're going to stay here with me, right? And she said, no, this is Beethoven. I think she said Beethoven. I love Beethoven. It's at the church up the street, and I'm going to go. So she went by herself, and she loved the concert, but she was not guilty. And we had this conversation afterwards, and I absolutely encouraged her in this move. And may it be a concert that you wanted to see, somebody holding you back, old patterns that hold you back, old rules and routines. It's time to step into something new. And it can feel a little scary, but it's a sign of growth. And she said to me, Heike, it's only a baby step, but I'm going to do more of it. I'm going to make a point that I will go to my water aerobics class on Mondays, because so far we've made appointments for my husband on Mondays for doctor's appointments. So I couldn't do my water aerobics. And, it's a fist pump in the air and a yes, you go, girl, that I am sending your way as well. There is discomfort for the people around in that growth process, but it doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It's okay not to dim your light. It is highly encouraged to shine your light. Instead of letting guilt stop you, use it as a marker that you're stepping out of your comfort zone and making changes that matter to you and your health. It is a positive sign because you're also setting boundaries, like the story with my client and her husband. She set a boundary. She said, no, I'm not going to stay home because you can't go. So when you look at your life, what are the things that make you feel guilty, or just one of them? The next time guilt creeps in, and it will, pause and ask if this guilt is because I'm stepping out of my comfort zone and I'm growing. Is it because I have old stories to resolve? By reframing guilt as a growth signal, you can move forward with confidence instead of letting things, as in people, circumstances, life, hold you back. Look at guilt as a way that shifts your mindset from self-doubt to self-compassion, making it easier to move forward and putting yourself first. Now, here's a gentle nudge to take your next step, to take your next small action. Big changes start with small, consistent steps. It's not about doing everything perfect, but making progress one baby step at a time. This approach reduces overwhelm and creates a sense of accomplishment. Make it easier to stay on track and build lasting habits. That is what we always want. Something that lasts. It may take a little while, but it will stick with you. Reflect on what resonated most in this episode with you. Think of the concepts, the ideas, and feel more connected to your own journey because of it. Write down a tiny shift that you feel ready to make after listening to this episode today. Remember, it's not about making huge changes, but about taking consistent, small steps that add up over time. Let's celebrate our baby steps and remind that the progress is the journey. It's not the perfection. I want you to choose one insight or one action step from today's episode that feels manageable and commit to trying it this week. Write it down as a small promise to yourself. Take a moment to reflect on today's discussion. Choose one insight or action step that feels right for you, like letting go of the wellness rule, flipping a limiting belief, or trying one small shift this week. Write it down as a promise to yourself, because putting yourself first is how real change starts. Go with what feels best. Go with your gut, because it is your journey. Big changes start with small and consistent actions. If you're ready for more support in overcoming overwhelm and gaining clarity and the results you're looking for, my Pursue Your Spark Blueprint will guide you. We're starting again January 6, 2025, and we will take it step by step, making it simple, achievable, and tailored to your busy life. I leave a link in the show notes so you can check it out and see if you're fit for the program. As we step into the new year, let me ask you this. What if the problem isn't you, but the career path you're stuck in? What if the 9-to-5 grind, once exciting and full of possibility, no longer aligns with the person you are today? In our next episode, we're flipping the conversation about change. Instead of focusing on resolutions to shrink yourself, we're discussing how to grow, starting with your career. I've got a special guest joining me who knows exactly what it takes to leave the familiar behind and step into a career that feels meaningful, fulfilling, and completely aligned with your purpose. And before I go, I want to wish you happy, healthy, and amazing holidays with your families and friends. And thank you for being a listener here on the Pursue Your Spark podcast. And if you just joined listening us, I'm so glad you're here. I'm always excited recording these episodes for you out there, since I can't work with everybody one-on-one, but I am so happy that you're here, and your being here means a lot to me. So thank you, and I'll see you in 2025.